Yeah. So I guess that's a little bit of a fun story to keep y'all entertained while we wait here for this to come back up. But yeah, so you can
Looks like
expect a
there's...
lot of cool stuff to run.
I'm
Oh,
assuming ethmar is going to attempt CE skip. We already know that Denny probably is not.
right.
However, I wouldn't expect him to actually get the skip, since it is
Right.
very inconsistent. Although, you never know.
You never know. But yeah, the boarding section. You just kind of have to turn around these corners, try not to hit cars or walls, and jump off the ramps.
Yeah,
Pretty
it's
straightforward.
pretty simple. You can do little angled turns into the ramps to get better jumps. So yeah, we're gonna see ethmar pulling ahead right after boarding section. And he attempts to skip, and he gets it! Oh my gosh.
Oh my. That is
And
crazy.
he's going to have the bad camera. The reason why is there's a sort of more consistent version of CE skip that always gives you bad camera.
Yeah. It's
So
the one
it has to be
downside,
this
but you can definitely learn to deal with it.
This rail section with backwards camera is something that requires a lot of practice, and it seems like he knows how to do it, and he got it. Oh, sticking to the ground for a truck section as well. That's a very precise... you have to do a very precise somersault to actually stick to the ground here.
Yeah.
Denny's going to come up to a very finicky loop, which sometimes is good and sometimes isn't, and he got a good loop there. Sometimes the loop likes to just throw you off the ground.
Very good CE on ethmar's part.
Very nice. 126 is a pretty respectable time.
Yeah.
There's this sort of meme that floats around the community that ethmar isn't good, just lucky, but the thing is, he is really good.
Yeah.
He's
Oh,
both.
I don't... Yeah, he's both good and lucky, honestly. The man has also lost because of bad luck before in a race. Fun fact. Think about it. If he was so lucky, maybe he wouldn't have lost that race. No, but the truck section is definitely something we should have explained. Very, very tricky section of the
Very
level.
tricky.
You got to charge a spin dash on the flat areas of the hills, and you can't see where you're going, so it ends up being very, very difficult to do that.
ethmar with a 21 seconds. I can't see the milliseconds there. It's too blurry. But yeah, that's a very good Bigfoot fight. Very clean.
Yeah, very, very clean indeed.
Ooh, with the free... Okay, you just got the free piece at the bottom with the wind tunnel.
Oh, nice.
That's very good. That piece is always great to get. It's one of the best ones you can get.
Yeah,
Ooh,
so basically what a free
ceiling
piece
isn't so good, but with that free piece, it sort of makes up for it.
Yeah, basically what a free piece is at the beginning of each level, or rather not at the beginning, but any point in each level, there are some pieces that you can see that normally you wouldn't be able to grab without getting a few pieces beforehand. You wouldn't be able to read the hint or see the radar, but you can just nab it because you know where it is and you can look for it. The Knuckles pieces are all RNG, and it's definitely very intimidating. But once you memorize all the first pieces, or first hints for all the pieces, it definitely becomes a lot more streamlined.
Yeah, certainly. Like, free pieces are essentially just pieces you collect out of order because you can see them first. Looks like Denny's going to be checking for pieces. Yeah, the Eggman fight is pretty straightforward. It's just hold forward and then shoot.
Yeah.
There's quite a lot of free pieces you can see in this stage. There's a lot you have to have your eyes open for, so it can be quite a struggle to actually memorize all of those. So now we're going to see ethmar doing Prison Lane. Prison Lane's a very technical stage. It's a lot of tight corners, and the movement's very it takes a while to optimize the movement in the stage. He's going for this gate hop here. It's a nice trick. Saves quite a bit of time. There's 2 of those in the stage. But yeah, this stage has a lot of tight corners. You have to jump around them in order to maintain speed. You have to avoid bonking into walls and such. And This is one of those stages where there's this pretty mysterious gap of time between fast people and people who aren't quite there yet. And it just comes from really small optimizations.
Yeah.
ethmar is actually on a fairly good run right now.
Yeah.
So far. Again, anything could happen.
Indeed.
He's now getting the second gate up, and it looks like he's gonna finish with like a mid 130, 136. That's a fairly respectable time. Very good.
136 is a very, very good time. You'll see a lot of newer runners to the game pulling a bit above 2 minutes. We'll see what Denny gets here.
I actually don't expect that from either of them.
Yeah, definitely.
Of course, not from ethmar, but it looks like Denny's movement is probably good enough to be in maybe the 150 to mid 140 range. We'll see.
Yeah, somewhere in there. But to just give you a general idea of just starting off versus where these runners are. Yeah, and we've got Metal Harbor coming up here. Very dangerous stage. Over
this
Death
is
Pit.
One of the most lethal stages in the game because at any point you could just fall to your death. So we're going to see if ethmar is going to play it safer or more risky. It seems like he started off playing it safe. He didn't go for the underloop. I don't think I saw him get that. So he has a couple of options here for whether or not he's going to do pulley skip. He's going to go for pulley skip. And he gets it. That's a very tight trick. It's pretty difficult.
So it's about 2 seconds.
He hit the left dash pad there, which sends you flying higher into the air. Oh my god, this orbit. Just orbited that enemy. Yeah, that's one of the things that can happen in Metal Harbor. Very sketchy stage. A lot of things that can kill you. You see Denny finishing up Prison Lane. 154, yeah.
Yep.
That's not too bad.
Yep.
That was easy.
Yeah, the orbits are very stressful. That can easily kill you if you're not expecting it. Which, oof, the 124 with that orbit mistake, that's really good. I suspect if he didn't get that, that would have been like a 120, maybe a 119. Very, very good time there, considering the mistake.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, so to explain a little bit more about just why Metal Harbor is so lethal, there's a ton of difficult strats with, varying difficulty from easy to hard that if you mess up any of them, you'll die.
Yeah, basically there's a lot of spin dash jumps that happen right near edges of like ledges. So if you miss any of those, it's a death.
Yep.
If anyone saw my race earlier today, you saw I struggled a lot with Metal Harbor. I had a lot of deaths.
Yeah, one of those stages that can definitely set another early runner far behind, or a runner rather far behind rather early in the race. And coming up, we've got Shadow. We've got our first use of a trick known as Storage, where basically if you press the B button and hold it for a little bit, the game will treat you like you're somersaulting, so you can hurt enemies and whatnot.
Yeah, storage is actually also used to go underneath things that you would normally have to somersault under. So you saw ethmar doing that in Metal Harbor.
There goes Denny took a death there.
Had a death on Rocket Skip. That's pretty costly. Rocket Skip is a very difficult trick. Takes quite a bit of practice to get down. So now we see Green Forest. Green Forest is a stage that likes to throw you off of the ground at a bunch of different points.
Yeah.
So you have to really know exactly when to charge spin dashes and whatnot to stick to the ground. We might be seeing a really cool trick from ethmar called Green Forest Wall Run, which is a loop speed trick in which you trigger loop speed, which is something that normally enables you to just run through loops very cleanly, but you trigger it outside of a loop. so that will just send him flying, and he'll be able to run on the tree. So we're gonna probably see him attempt that.
Yeah.
Looks like, yeah, there he's already flying off the grounds, because the stage likes to do that.
Yeah, there's a lot of vertexes here that if you just have like any remotely amount of speed, any remotely decent amount of speed, you'll just go flying into this guy, and it's really unfortunate.
Oh,
yeah, that's definitely...
okay, he got it. He got the wall run. Although this is a very sketchy wall run, he might hit a vertex and fall off. Although, okay, well he still saved some time with that. He didn't get the full thing, but you got to see him start running on the tree, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. Yep.
Looks like Denny is not using storage on the Shadow fight, opting instead for homing attacks, and Shadow's gonna orbit him. That's that's kind of scary. Oh, and the death. Oh, that sucks.
Oof.
There's no time to play games. You won't even get the chance.
Yeah. Pretty decent time coming from ethmar here, especially considering what happened. 141 is definitely respectable.
11. 11 is a good time for a Shadow fight.
Yeah, definitely.
I do imagine he's probably nervous. He's up against an opponent. He probably knows he can't beat, but it's also just being in front of all the viewers. It can really get at your nerves.
Indeed. Yeah, coming up here we got Pumpkin Hill.
Yeah, Pumpkin Hill, another Knuckles stage. You'll see him do a cool trick where he kind of cancels out the upgrade cutscene by getting a hint at the same time.
Yep, it's pretty interesting. There's a lot of variation in the Knuckles levels due to them just being RNG. There's a lot that could go wrong, a lot that could go right. It's kind of out of your control. So they're just kind of hoping that they don't get, hard-bodied there.
Yeah, Pumpkin Hill in particular has a lot of hints with a lot of pieces with very similar hints, and you have to tell them apart through punctuation and stuff. So one hint might have a question mark, and there might be another hint very similar to it with a period, and then that's just how you tell the pieces apart, and you have to just memorize all of that.
Yeah.
So a 52 is maybe a little bit below average RNG, but that's still definitely respectable.
All right. Yeah. Seeing Denny coming up on doing the loop skip instead of the wall run there. That's what you would do if you don't go for the wall run. You just kind of hop across and it saves a few seconds.
The wall run is a very precise trick, so a lot of people won't even attempt it.
Ooh, a homing attack whiff there. Yeah, we've got ethmar coming up here in Mission Street.
Mission
probably
Street
the most simple Tails stage.
Yeah, probably the simplest Tails stage. It's the level where you collect the hover upgrade, and he's gonna try to use it immediately to get something called a pause hover jump, which he'll do right now. Yeah, that gives you extra height and allows him to get on the weight. Essentially, that works by the pause buffer makes your A inputs closer together, so you can get even more height than any other type of hover jump.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's going to be going for 0 cycle, which is the fastest cycle that we can currently make, although that might be changing in the future due to a new strat that was recently discovered. That's pretty intense.
Yeah, but I guess we should probably explain what a hover jump is. Basically, whenever you double tap the A button with a hover, the game slows your transition into a descent, so you'll get more height.
Yeah, you basically just get extra height out of your jump from just having close A inputs. He's going to miss the switch there. That might cost him the 0 cycle. The cycle is extremely tight, and he's not going to make it. So he's going to go instead for a half cycle, just taking these front platforms.
Yeah, there's some pretty interesting naming schemes for these. We used to think that we could only get first cycle. Then we found out that we were wrong. So we got seconds, or then we started counting down more, and we were like, okay, so this is less than 1, and we don't really want to rename everything. So let's just call it at 0 cycle.
So this piece is kind of funny. Oh, Denny's going to use the rocket here, but you can actually grab that piece with a punch. Your hitbox will just go through the cage and grab the piece. So the hint is you can see it, but you can't take it. But you can actually just take it.
Yeah. Rather unfortunate RNG on Denny's part. That's really rough.
Yeah. Did he get King of the Hill, was it?
Mhm.
Yeah. King of the Hill is not a piece that you want to be getting. It's very far away from everything. Can be annoying to deal with this robot at the top. So ethmar with the 215 half cycle mission street. Half cycle is still, you know, it's better than the first cycle. But it's probably not what he was expecting to get. It's definitely still respectable, though.
Yep.
That 0 cycle is very tight. If you make about a second of mistakes, there's just no chance of getting it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the new tech I was also talking about is there's a wall run that has been discovered by the Tasser, Hazel. And people are crazy enough to actually go for it. Although no one's gotten it in a run yet. And we don't really know if we can save a cycle with it yet, but maybe...
Yeah, we actually can. We can save a cycle with it. We actually do know that.
Oh yeah,
as it was used in the task to do so.
Negative half cycle or something. The task definitely saves time with it. Okay, so Aquatic Mine is one of the more technical Knuckles stages. There's lots of wall runs and clip outs you can do. We're probably going to see a clip out right here. Using these signs, you can clip out of bounds. And that dented ceiling piece is kind of scary. If you miss it, like, the backup to get it is very precise. You have to do a very precise jump and hover.
Yeah.
You got it. 47 is not a bad time. I did not see if Denny got the weight hop or not.
Oh, I did not either, actually. That's...
We'll be able to tell from the timer what cycle he's on.
I do believe that he's on...
Even if he did get it, I don't think he's on... He's not on 0 cycle pace, and I don't know if he'd be on... No, this is definitely...
I think he missed the weight hop.
Maybe a 1.5 cycle.
Yeah, next for here we've got Route 101 on ethmar's screen. You see he's kind of wiggling through. What he's doing is he's drifting. The reason that he's doing that is it basically makes it so on flat surfaces he doesn't decelerate from the boost speed, which is really fast.
Ended up with a second cycle, if I recall correctly.
It would appear as such, yes.
Yeah, it was a second cycle. Get maybe a 230 if he can finish the stage right.
Yeah. And then you saw ethmar there was doing something for a little bit called backwards driving. Basically, whenever you hit a wall, Tails just kind of shifts his model a bit. It's pretty funny. And you just kind of have it turned around.
If you're backwards driving, the controls are still the same. It's just a strategy you would do for swag. It loses time to actually do, but yeah, it doesn't lose a lot of time.
Yeah, it's about like what? Depending on where you do it, you can make it lose about 0.2 seconds tops. It's actually not even bad.
Yeah. So the reason why he's snaking right now is because you have a much higher speed cap when you're in a drift.
Yep.
So that enables him to keep full boost speed and full speed from downhill sections just throughout the whole course. So yeah, that's why he'd be drifting the whole time.
Yep.
Now we're gonna see how Denny's Aquatic Mine plays out.
Mm-hmm.
This is gonna be tougher than I thought.
Yeah, so he opts to take the back hint there because his radar is not immediately pinging. The reason for that is there's a couple of really bad pieces that most runners will just reset over. Because they just take way too long to get.
Yeah.
And you just want to know that as soon as possible.
Right.
ethmar gets what is that, a 216? That's fairly clean. That's a fairly clean time.
Yeah, 216 is rather clean there.
I found him.
And that's 52 Aquatic Mine. That's pretty good. Keeping
Yep.
Aquatic Mine under a minute is always nice.
Yeah,
Indeed.
this is perfect.
Now, we saw ethmar doing a lot of warm-up in this stage earlier. He's using some strats that I have not seen before, which is pretty interesting, just some movement. He attempts to get something called pole hop, or pole hover, but he
Pole
missed
jump.
it, so he's going to back up with corner clip here. That corner clip is very dangerous. If you don't go into the corner at a very precise angle, the walls will drag you down into the sands.
Right.
You'll die, but he gets it, and that's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, my bad. Hidden Base is definitely the most technical tail stage.
Oh yeah, there's just so many pause hovers, so many choke points that can go wrong.
Yep.
You see, like, ethmar's getting stuck here because he didn't get a perfect pause hover. Had to get a backup instead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just like every little bit of the stage, you want to keep your feet on the ground and as much as possible, and that ends up for being some pretty tight jumps in some places.
Yeah, you saw ethmar just take that spring and then shoot the door down. That's a pretty precise trick because you have to shoot that door down just in. Oh my god, he got stuck on the wall. That can happen. If you touch walls, you'll just get stuck to them and pulled to your death.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty costly mistake.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And we'll see Denny running through Route 101 here. Pretty standard procedure here.
Yeah.
And Denny's screen. Just, kind of got to focus on it a little bit. Make sure you're not flying off the course. Don't want to be skipping any melons here.
Yeah. Yeah. If he gets this turn right, he should do a wall bang. That's good. Yeah. You intentionally hit the wall in certain places.
Mm-hmm. Because you're going too fast to make the turn, so you try to avoid spinning out.
ethmar gets a 151 plus a death. He was probably aiming to get a sub 150 there. I imagine he's probably a little upset about that, but he still has quite the comfortable lead. So now Pyramid Cave. This is a very technical Sonic stage. Has a lot of super bounces because this is the stage you pick up the bounce bracelet, of course. Mm-hmm. Essentially, you can turn all of your vertical momentum and all of your horizontal momentum into vertical momentum by bouncing into walls.
Yeah, it's a really interesting kind of trick. You'll be seeing quite a lot of use throughout the run.
You can also use the bounce to help maintain skewed gravity, which we should also see skewed gravity being used. Yeah. He misses the spring skip there, so he has to take the spring.
Yeah.
That spring skip is a bit tricky, and it's something a lot of people have implemented recently. You essentially have a little bit of momentum, and you get a double bounce, and you hit the wall with it, so you get this, like, a very small super bounce, which enables you to skip that spring.
Yeah. We'll see Denny coming up here on Hidden Base. Opting for a bit of some more comfortable strats.
Safe and comfy.
Definitely a good way to approach this stage.
Yeah, this is always a stage that can really go wrong if you're taking it very risky. So it looks like yikes! ethmar just took a death. He didn't opt for snake skip there, or he messed it up. So he's gonna try for snake skip again.
Yeah, basically what you're doing is you're doing something called skewed gravity, where you take a slope and you go off the slope, and as long as you have enough speed, you'll maintain the angle that you were at on that slope, and you'll just kind of fall towards it, and you can actually do some pretty really interesting stuff with that, as you'll see later in a stage known as Final Rush.
Here's another gravity bounce. The bounce helps you keep the gravity, because if you lose too much speed while you're in a skewed gravity state, you'll lose the skewed gravity. Mm-hmm. And just bouncing helps keep your speed up.
Yep.
So 138 plus a death. Yeah, at ethmar's level, that's not what he was going for. But it is a very hard stage.
Yep. Next we got Death Chamber. Pretty rough stage with a lot of stuff that can happen RNG-wise. You might be seeing some Death Strats here, we'll see.
He's going to opt for the reset for Fly Higher Than a Bird.
The Bat in the Hourglass is definitely not a good piece either.
He
Just
might
his
go
first
for
piece
a
of
Death
his
Strat here, but he is low on lives, so he has to pay attention to his life counter. And we're going to see Denny finish the stage. He played it pretty safe, got a 207, that's not bad.
Yeah.
That was a little
Yeah, definitely. Denny's level of 207 is definitely nothing to scoff at. I know we keep talking about it like, you know, in comparison it'd be awful or something, but in reality, ethmar has many years of experience on Denny, which is just the unfortunate fact of, you know, the unfortunate just truth of this race here.
Yeah, ethmar's been playing for years.
Oh, what? At least 5 years now. So the dude definitely has a lot higher standards. And so we're kind of comparing his times to his standards and Denny's times to Denny. What are likely about Denny's standards at his level?
Oh, you see a really cool trick, monitor clip that ethmar did. Yeah, if you do a spiral uppercut behind a monitor, it'll enable you to go through the ceiling and get out of bounds, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. You know, 114, a little bit unfortunate, especially with those restarts.
Denny's attempting a super bounce here, he misses it twice, and oh, he's getting it the third time. All right. Yeah, that can be a tricky super bounce.
Yeah.
There's a very narrow like path you need to go through in order to not like hit any walls and lose speed, so that you can get that super bounce. That door skip is also very precise, so second try isn't bad. I believe ethmar got it first try. It's pretty much expected for ethmar to be getting that first try.
Yeah, but second try is good.
Definitely respectable though.
Yeah, and we got ethmar coming up here on Kim Boom Boom. This is a pretty interesting boss because once you get used to it, Boom Boom I'd like to compare to riding a bike.
Very much.
Once you learn Boom Boo, you never forget Boom Boo, but you can still fall over, and so, you know, it wastes about 40 seconds if you mess up this fight. So it's actually got a lot of stress put behind it just because of the gravity of the situation. But in the end, you know, you practice and you get it down, and you're going to be getting first cycle.
And now we see Egg Golem. You can do very tight super bounces here. That you only have a handful of frames to jump and then bounce before each super bounce. And he gets 3 super bounces. This is a very clean Egg Golem fight. Very good. He's gonna get an attack on that head smash, and he should spin dash off of the arm here into the final hit. That's a very clean fight. Very, very good.
Very good.
He's doing extra super bounces just for this one.
Amazing.
But yeah, King Boom Boo is it is a boss fight that's very important to get down, because if you do end up missing the quick kill, it will waste a lot of time. It wastes about 40 seconds at least, assuming you just restart after missing it, pretty much. Because otherwise it will lose even more time. It's very punishing.
Yeah.
So, of course, that's just one of those things people will practice until they can't miss.
Alright.
We're not going to be seeing death strats from Denny. He probably hasn't learned them yet, that's why.
And death strats tend to be kind of dissuaded for beginners just due to the amount of pieces that you can get. We tend to encourage them to know all the pieces, but it's it's ultimately their choice, so...
It's good to know where all of the pieces are and why death strats are important before using them. It looks like he doesn't know what piece he's looking for. It should be noted that every Knuckles stage has about 100 different piece locations in it, and memorizing all of them takes quite a while.
Yep. There's a practice method we like to refer to as a Centurion, where you play 100 Knuckles stages back to back. And we've got on we've got on ethmar's screen here the Eternal Engine.
It looks like he got a first cycle, and then he got the clip out using the door clip method.
A nice Eternal Engine by ethmar here.
Yeah, assuming he hits the goal ring, which should happen. He'll probably play it safe.
Not quite in the clear yet, though. There's a lot of technical movement that you got to get down for that level as well to get that first cycle. Yet another cycle-based stage with a very tight cycle.
It's less tight than Mission Street Zero cycle for sure, but it's still tight.
Yeah. Basically, I guess we forgot to explain a bit of movement tech on the stage. You'll be seeing when Denny gets over there that they'll probably be hopping in front of the doors. This allows you to slow down a little bit and let them open before you. And
ethmar is taking that ending really safe. Doesn't want to miss the goal ring.
Smart choice.
He gets a 204. That's still really good. First cycle is respectable, very respectable.
What the? Ghost?
Yep, for sure.
Now we're gonna see Denny do King Boom Boo. Hopefully he gets the quick kill, gets the one cycle Boom Boo.
Hopefully.
ethmar in the final Knuckles stage. There's a lot of really trolly layouts you can get in this stage that just lose a lot of time. That first piece isn't particularly good because you have to go down and grab this rocket. Looks like Denny is missing the first cycle Boom Boo, which is unfortunate.
Mm-hmm. Definitely an unfortunate event there. Like we said, depending on if you restart or not, it loses upwards of 40 to 45 seconds. Basically, if you're confident enough that you can get it, then you should restart, but otherwise, kind of taking the hit is probably your best option.
Maybe he can get a 2-cycle fight, we'll see.
See. It can be pretty rough with the camera. Oh, that looks like the camera's rather chasing the other way again.
Looks like he should get it. Yeah, he's got the 2 hits. Looks like he's gonna get the 2-cycle. So that's good. At least he got the 2-cycle. That should lose about 40 seconds. No, yeah, about 50 or so. 45 maybe.
Yeah.
So this Rouge fight, ethmar is probably going to go for Ringless Rouge, which is just forgetting about the safety ring and just attacking your head on.
Mm-hmm.
Right like that. It's pretty safe if you know how you're doing it. Like if you know what you're doing. So yeah, the rest of the fight is pretty straightforward. You just spam drill attacks and it's a pretty easy rest of the fight if you can get that first hit.
Mm-hmm.
Denny is really unlucky that platform did not come back out. That happens if you start walking onto the platforms too soon. Quite unfortunate.
Definitely.
Golem is a tough boss fight. Okay, so Crazy Gadget. ethmar is probably going for a skip called CGSS. It's a very major skip, very risky. He has to squeeze between a few different kill planes. There's a very small gap. And after that, he has to do a blind fall towards the goal ring. Pretty much blind. So there are some visual cues. We'll see if he gets out of bounds first. It's the hardest part. He's out of bounds. So we'll see if he can hit the goal ring.
Mm-hmm.
Looks good to me. Yes, he gets it. First try. First try nice. CGSS. That's very nice. 46 is also a very good time. That's a very hype CGSS right there.
See, Denny having a little bit of trouble here on Egg Golem. Very tough fight. Can't blame him for that.
That was quite shaky, but it is a very tough fight. It's one of the hardest bosses to get down, for sure. Now, Eggman 2 can really mess with you, but ethmar has practiced it a lot, so he should be able to get this fight really well. And he looks like he got a 15. Yeah, that's a solid fight.
We see Denny come up here in General Engine. That's definitely a bit of a difficult stage to an extent. We'll be hoping to see nothing too bad going on here.
Yeah, you'll see him hopping in front of doors. This is just to slow down on purpose so that you don't hit the doors. ethmar with an unfortunate death at the start of Final Rush.
Yeah.
So Final Rush has a skip in it. It has actually 2 different skips. I don't know which one he's going to go for. Probably the very safe one. I'm assuming. He's going to be going for bounceless Final Rush skip. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but he should still be able to make it. So right now he's falling with speed gravity, he's just going to turn around a kill plane and then fall to the end of the stage.
Yep.
I'm not sure what cycle this is that Denny is on. It might be 3rd. We'll see if he can actually... Yeah, I believe this is 3rd cycle. Ooh, that was scary. He almost hit that platform and didn't make it. He's also gonna be going for door clip. He released his hover just a little early and didn't make it. Getting it after missing it can be tricky because the timing is different.
Alright.
Yeah, that looked good to me. Yeah, he got out.
Nice. We see ethmar, he's turned back towards the goal ring and it's falling to the end.
Yeah.
He's just going to be coming up there in just a second.
Yeah, the ending of FR is very straightforward. It's just land on the goal ring. 124. I do think he had a mistake at the beginning, so... oh, no, he did bounceless, and that's a bit slower. That's why. I don't know if that was intentional or not. Sometimes you can accidentally rail switch off, but it's very good to know both the bounce and the bounceless method in case you accidentally rail switch off, because then you can save it.
Exactly. Yep.
Denny is going to be playing this ending quite safe, landing on an invisible platform and walking off. ethmar also did that. That's a very safe way to end Eternal Engine skip. If you know what you're doing, there's like no chance of missing the goal ring when you do that. So that's a good play.
I gotta do better next time.
We got Shadow here. Shadow here is a bit of a bully. Second fight can be pretty tricky.
Oh, he had to finish it off with bounces. Still gets it. Still a fairly decent fight at 22. Yeah, so that's the win for ethmar with 38-04.
Yep.
Good job, ethmar.
Yeah, we're gonna be seeing Meteor Herd coming up here for Denny. So Dangerous Liquid is a piece that's at the very top. It's, well, I mean, it can also...
It can be in 2 places. One of them is at the top. Generally, it's not good to have a first piece at the top, but with that particular piece, there's no way to tell which one it is until you actually check for it.
Yeah, pretty interestingly, the top one actually has a very large amount of good piece sets to go along with it. So in the end, it's pretty worth it to go for either one. And unless you want to grab a second hint, which just takes way too long, you're not going to be able to tell which one it is. So why bother resetting for it? With
It's closer.
It looks like he, for the most part, knew where he was going. There's a bit of a hesitation for the second piece, but he found his way quick enough.
Yeah, coming up here we got their Rouge fight.
Yeah.
It's going to be a thing. We're going to do some handstand.
Yeah, this is
Looks like ethmar is doing some more Final Rush. He might be going for the fast FR skip. I don't know what he's doing right now. I believe, yeah, he is. This skip is you have to essentially go directly through a kill plane and hope it doesn't kill you. So it's very inconsistent. Oh no, he's just doing skipless. Okay.
Oh, skipless is pretty fun actually. Congratulations to ethmar.
Skipless is quite interesting. There's a pretty exciting wall run. Anyway, let's see how this Rouge fight plays out. Oh, he goes for ringless. I didn't expect that, but that's exciting.
Yes, indeed.
He has to finish it off with punches because he sort of messed up the drills. But that's very impressive that he was able to finish that fight cleanly with punches. I don't think I've ever seen anyone do that before.
Yeah, I know. Same.
I don't know if Denny uses any sort of skip in this stage or not.
I do not believe so, but it is also very possible. We'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, he got hit by that enemy, unfortunately. That's an interesting backup that I haven't seen before.
I have not seen that either.
People would just super bounce up there.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a pretty interesting backup.
Denny showing us some new things here.
Some new things I didn't know about.
Yeah. Yeah, that checkpoint is really finicky to grab a lot of the time.
Yeah, that's the most annoying checkpoint in the game. It doesn't like to actually be flipped. So yeah, he's not going to be skipping the stage. He'll do it skipless. But this is honestly, one of my favorite levels to do skipless.
Indeed.
There's a lot of really cool tech in the stage.
Yeah.
He'll probably skip the last room. There's something called puzzle skip, which is just a super bounce at the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Denny's gonna be getting the flame ring here.
Yeah, the flame ring, if you're not skipping the stage, it is required to collect. There's just no other way to get through those steel crates.
Yeah, there's a lot of nice finishes that can look very smooth when done very, very, very well.
And we're now also seeing ethmar playing the same stage.
It's neck and neck.
Also doing it skipless. Oh no, that's a very unfortunate death. That's a very bad spot to die in.
Ooh.
Yikes. That's unfortunate.
Very much so.
That particular death will set you back. That's right before the last checkpoint is where he died. There was a checkpoint right after that. So that's just about the worst place you can die.
Yep. Bit of an orbit there. Yeah.
It can be tricky to hit that robot sometimes. And since he had zero... Oh, he missed the switch. You have to go all the way back if you miss the switch. These types of switches, they're annoying. Sometimes they don't like to be triggered.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the... Ooh, he's going to have to do a backup here since he missed puzzle skip. I don't know what he's planning to do. I guess he'll just hit the spring. There is a faster backup there, but I don't think he knows it. not a lot of people know about it.
Yes.
But yeah, that's a puzzle skip right there.
There we go.
ethmar showing off an alternate way to skip the puzzle room here. I don't understand what he's doing. Oh, ethmar is like doing reverse CGSS.
Oh my god.
Gosh. What a swag monster.
What a memer.
It looks like he's just stuck out of bounds now, though. He missed the stage.
Yeah, we got a Eggman 2 here. Played a rough fight indeed. But, yeah.
This fight can be
Very
really
smooth.
tricky. You want to generally avoid doing propeller punches, since that does 1/3 the amount of damage. And because of that, that basically means you need to do an extra hit. But not dying is impressive. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
If you can get through that fight without a death, that's a very tough boss fight. So I even sometimes still mess up that fight and die. Luckily, when I did my race earlier today, I used a new strat I learned and actually got it.
Yeah, so that was a good fight there, and then we're going to be going up on Final Rush here.
And this is gonna have to be a skipless FR, since Denny missed the rail, and I'm not so sure he knows the skip either. It's one of those skips that is difficult to learn, but once you learn it, it's not too hard to master.
Right.
He unfortunately had skewed gravity there, which made it sort of impossible for him to get the rail.
Oof.
So yeah, skipless Final Rush can be a very tricky stage. These rails require a lot of precision to hit, and they can sometimes kill you. There's a lot of walls you can accidentally clip through in this stage. Oh, and he gets killed by the bomb robot there.
Rough.
He just got a light dash onto a rail, I believe. What happens when you get a light dash onto a rail? For some reason, that just kills all of your speed. He was trying to do a balance there. It looks like he attempted to actually get the wall run, but he missed it. That wall run is very tricky. It's very hard to get onto the wall.
Yeah. Now we've got like one of the most annoying, I'd say, sections of the game, which is just this this upwards rail section here is just kind of very, very hard to do efficiently.
Seems like he's practiced it though.
Yeah.
He's using a lot of good tech.
Dude.
Oh. That was scary.
Oh. And yeah. Jeez. My heart. ethmar seems to just be playing random levels at this point.
Yeah. You see him playing Green Forest.
Green Forest, Green Hill.
Oh yeah, Green Hill. I can't talk. Ooh.
Mood.
Ooh. That's a scary death.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think what happened there is the platform you just landed on, those platforms are very bizarre. You have to if you're trying to charge a spin dash on them, you have to start holding the action button after you land. It's one of the only platforms that actually is like this. Most platforms you can start holding it before you land. So that can mess people up if they're not aware of that. It's just, those are very confusing. Oh, depth perception in this game can be really tricky.
Indeed.
It's very much not unusual for yikes, he almost died again. It's very much not unusual for people to die a lot in this stage when they're starting out as speedrunners.
Oh jeez, that was pretty tight.
It's the thing we see a lot. It's a pretty lethal stage.
Right.
Oh, so we had storage there. Didn't realize. If you start pressing B before you hit a spring like that, you can end up with storage. And if you land and you're not holding the B button, you'll end up doing a somersault.
Mm.
Very impressive that he actually kept his speed for the end there by doing that homing attack at the ground.
Yep.
So Denny should be finishing up soon, just has the final boss left, just the shadow fight. Ethmar's actually attempted... Oh, and he gets it! Ethmar just got a new strat that was discovered in Skyrail. That was discovered very recently, skipping the pumpkin jumps entirely.
Got the final fight here with Shadow 2, being a bit of a bully.
Denny is using a very safe strategy here, which is definitely a good way to do it. If you haven't learned the sort of rhythmic homing attack pattern yet, then this is definitely the good way to do it. Basically, Shadow's going to be vulnerable every single time. Every single time he uses his special attack. So because of that, you can just sort of wait for him to get ahead of you, and then as soon as he stops, you can just hit him. So it's a very clean way to get just a very reliable quick kill in about 30 seconds, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Not what the top runners will opt for, but the quick kill is a bit tricky to learn.
Right.
With the homing attack pattern. So that is a good alternative.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the race. That was pretty entertaining to watch. The two runners were at very different skill levels. Ethmar is at the top of his pool. I think Denny is near. I don't think at the bottom, but definitely not at the same level yet. You've got definitely like a veteran runner versus more of a beginner. So this is essentially how we expected it to turn out.
Yeah, it's pretty unfortunate, but sometimes that's just kind of what happens. But a good showing for both on both their skill levels.
Good runs from both runners. So yeah, I guess we'll sign off now.
Yep.
Yeah, again, I'm Jazz Speedruns. That's Piner.
Yep, and we'll be going. Have a good one. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. We'll be coming up, I think, on Speed Gaming 2 with another race in just a second. So, see you then.
That's right.